Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Cancer is a strange disease. Cancer is not a foreign intruder from outside your body. Cancer is not a poison or a pathogen that invades and attacks you. Cancer is you. Cancer is a disease when one of your cells starts to grow and reproduce uncontrollably, invading other tissues in the body, interrupting the essential functions of the body, and eventually, if left untreated, cancer leads to death. Once I knew a man who was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And everyone responds differently to a cancer diagnosis. Some people, when they're diagnosed, they just deny that they even have cancer and carry on with their lives until usually they die. Some people, when they're diagnosed, will carefully follow the course of treatment prescribed by their doctor. Sometimes they survive, sometimes they don't. But some people try to take matters into their own hands. And this particular man, that's what he did. He started eating better, he started exercising, he quit drinking and smoking, and he also started drinking highly concentrated hydrogen peroxide. He tried very, very hard to cure himself, and eventually he died because some conditions cannot be cured on your own. No amount of diet, exercise, and hydrogen peroxide can cure you of cancer. You can try really hard, but you will die trying. And this is our fate if we try to save ourselves from our own sins. You may try really, really hard, but you will die trying. This is the first video in a series about being transformed in Christ. And this is what we need to discuss first. We have to understand the helplessness of the human condition. So what's the problem? The problem is we're sinners, and every honest person knows that. But our question right now is, why are we sinners? This is answered in James chapter 1, verses 13 through 15. He tells us why. But let no one say when he is tempted, I am tempted by God. For God cannot be tempted by evil, nor does he himself tempt anyone. But each one is tempted when he is drawn away by his own desires and enticed. Then when desire has conceived, it gives birth to sin, and sin, when it is full grown, brings forth death. Every temptation that I have is rooted in my own desires. These human desires are the source of every temptation that inevitably leads to sin. The Bible has a name for this problem. It's called the flesh, or occasionally in some translations, the sinful nature. The word literally means the flesh, referring to our physical bodies and the desires of our physical body. So rather than calling the flesh the sinful nature, if we're going to call it anything else, I prefer to call it the human nature. This is what Paul says in Ephesians 2, verse 3. He says, we all once conducted ourselves in the lust of our flesh, fulfilling the desires of the flesh and of the mind, and were by nature children of wrath, just as the others. It's important to know what Paul is saying here. Sinning is natural. The human nature, separated from God and unconditioned by God, is an endless cycle of lust, temptation, and sin. Sometimes we'd like to think that most people are mostly good, but that's really just not true at all. The Bible teaches, and I think reality agrees, that most people are overwhelmed with desires that they cannot control, and in most cases don't even want to control. And as life goes on, most people just get used to the feeling of rotting in sin. So where do these desires come from? What exactly is the source of the flesh? Well, that's the subject of the next video. Thanks for watching.